Hey, what's up, everybody? This is episode 3 of my kevcast. I know, like, at the end of episode 2, I said there's a couple of things coming, but life happens and I missed them. So, episode 3, I'm going to talk all about Batman. In the next couple episodes, I'm going to do a couple things differently that aren't really comic related. I'm going to do some stuff with like some food. Like I got like restaurants in the city that I'm going to be working with. Also, I'm going to do some sports related episodes coming up in the next couple months. But I'm not abandoning superhero stuff or comic stuff. That's the whole plan. So everything will pretty much still be based on like comics. So today's episode was supposed to be about Batman because, well, Batman's my favorite hero, and also recently in July it was the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight, the one with Heath Ledger, and to me he's the best Joker of all time, and he passed away. So the Batman, The Dark Knight, that came out in 2008, and it doesn't even seem that long ago, but it did. And my early memories of Batman, because I'm pretty old, was and I wasn't born in the 60s, but back in like the early 80s, I watched a lot of the reruns of the 1960s show with Adam West. And like Batman was pretty cheesy on that, and like that's what I like about Batman, is there's like different versions. You don't have to have super serious Christian Bale or like Ben Affleck, I'm gonna kill somebody Batman, because you can have like more different takes on the character, which is pretty cool because the character's almost 80 years old next year, so I mean you're gonna need that. So when I used to be a kid, I used to watch the 1960s Batman and the Super Friends show, and the Batman on that was kind of cheesy too, with him and Robin. And I used to pretend my dad had a Mercury Cougar, and I used to pretend that was the Batmobile for like many times. We'd just go to the grocery store, stupid stuff like that, and I'd always pretend that was the Batmobile and we were Batman and Robin. And that was like one of my earliest childhood memories for me. And then after the early 80s memories of Batman, then I got to the 90s. I never really read any Batman comics back then. I didn't actually do that until like not long ago. But anyhow, in the 90s they came out with the Batman the Animated Series, and that had like Mark Hamill play the Joker. And to me, like, okay, so that's probably tied with Heath Ledger as my favorite Joker. I know Jack Nicholson's Joker was great, but I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, like Batman the Animated Series, probably one of the greatest cartoons I've ever seen in my life, and probably one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. It's in my top 10. I love that series. And then also, the end of the 80s came Batman the movie. I remember I saw that in theaters. I think I was like 12 years old, but that had like Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and that Batman movie was amazing. Up until the ones that came out like the 2000s, that was probably like the best Batman movie. Then Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. That movie was amazing, and then they did Batman Forever, and that's when you kind of seen it going south. And then that had the Riddler in it. I did not like that at all.
Gothic and disgustingly decadent. Yet so bright and chipper and conservative.
And then they did Batman and Robin, and that was
From hell!
probably the top 10 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. That was terrible. I love George Clooney. He was Batman in it. I thought that was bad. I thought he made a great Bruce Wayne, though. They had nipples on the bat suit. That's when, yeah, it went really, really, really south on that. And then after that train wreck of Batman and Robin, actually, you know what, though? That movie was probably the greatest thing to ever happen to Batman, because without that, they never would have remade it. And it also killed Batman for many years. So after that, they did Batman Begins in the 2000s, and that was like the best Batman origin you could probably have. That movie was amazing. They had Liam Neeson was in it as Ra's al Ghul, and they had the Scarecrow in it, and I thought that movie was amazing. That's probably my probably my second favorite Batman movie after The Dark Knight. And also in the early 2000s, they had Justice League, which was a great cartoon, and that was a great version of Batman. And they also had Batman Brave and the Bold. That came out like 2010 era, I think. But that cartoon was, it was cheesy. It was like a light take on Batman. But like I said, Batman doesn't need to be serious all the time. I'm a stand-up comedian. I really wouldn't want to see serious 24/7. And after Batman Begins, that's when The Dark Knight came out. That was in 2008, like I said. That movie was great. I mean, Heath Ledger put a lot into that as a Joker.
It's gone. Oh, and by the way, the suit, it wasn't cheap. You ought to know, you bought it.
And I mean, it's a shame he passed away, but like he was the greatest Joker to me. And then after that, The Dark Knight Rises came out. Tom Hardy was Bane.
Bane.
Let's not stand on ceremony here. Mr. Wayne.
That movie was the weakest of those three, but it was still great. I mean, it was better than a lot of movies that come out. So after that, Batman vs. Superman came out a couple years back. A lot of people hated that. I mean, they tried to put too much into it. I didn't mind it. Lex Luthor was a train wreck. That was bad. But I didn't think it was terrible, as people said. There's also a lot of great like animated Batman movies. Mask of the Phantasm, Under the Red Hood, and there's a version of the graphic novel, The Dark Knight Returns, which is like broken up into two parts. That's like a great animated movie. That's a great movie, period. Also, if you want to like read anything about Batman, the greatest Batman story is The Dark Knight Returns. Also, that was like made in the 80s, but they re-released it, stuff like that. Batman comics right now, Dark Metal, that's pretty great. Also, Batman was in Justice League that came out last year, and that movie got like a lot of bad reviews, and people said that was terrible too. I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I think he's great. He looks like Bruce Wayne. I think Justice League wasn't as bad as people said, but I mean, when it's compared to like what Marvel does with like Iron Man and movies like that, it doesn't really hold up, but I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to when Aquaman comes out this year. So yeah, so anyway, that's basically Batman. He's my favorite hero. I think he's pretty much most people's favorite hero. He's probably the most well known. You can go to like an 80-year-old lady on the street and say, "Do you know who Batman is?" She would. If you went up to her and say like, "Yo, do you know who Green Arrow or Booster Gold is?" She'd have no clue at all. So yeah, also I'd like to say I'm here at Big B Comics. I want to thank my cameraman Josh Tiller. If you need anything filmed, he's the person I would contact. There's going to be more kevcast episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks. And like I said, I'm going to do some more cooking, food, my own stand-up comedy. I have a show September 22nd at King's Landing in Hamilton. So yeah, so if you like food, you like sports, you like comedy, you like comics, I'm going to have plenty more stuff to come. I'm going to have more co-hosts with me. My one co-host couldn't make it tonight due to car troubles, so he'll be on my next one. And yeah, so just thank you for watching, and good night.
I'm home.
Welcome home, sir. Initializing Batcave operating system.